What's up, everybody? Ben Raz and Eric Lindquist here for OddsChecker, and we are back talking all things PGA. No, it is not the Masters just yet. Don't worry. We're going to have all things Augusta coming at you as soon as we get past the Valero Texas Open. And that doesn't mean this isn't important, particularly from a betting standpoint. There are a lot of guys at appealing odds, and it would never be a bad thing to boost the bankroll before we head to Georgia. If you're hopping in for the first time, checking out some PGA picks, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to join the community. We would love to have you as part of the team, whether it's PGA, NBA, college basketball, whatever you like. We've got Mr. Lindquist. Here we go. It's not the most glamorous tournament, let's be honest, but there are some big names. What were your thoughts when you looked at the board?
Other than looking at the top end with Rory, looking at Spieth, looking at Hideki, other than those three guys, I mean, it is garbage. It's not a very good field. And so for me, it's taking some talent, taking some guys. This golf course seems to be a little bit more biased towards ball striking, very flat greens, pretty easy to get around here. It seems like it can be a little bit of an all-around test, but these weeks before, they try to set up the golf courses a lot like Augusta. So you can kind of get keyed in on some clues based on the odds you're seeing at Augusta National, seeing them and trying to bring those to this spot. I mean, obviously, Jordan Spieth always plays well there. He's setting up nicely here as well, but at his odds, you got to be a little bit sensitive to it. So I'm looking at some players that might be getting a little bit more odds boosted over at Augusta, and then just not really transferring over to this golf tournament.
Fair enough. Like I said, there are ample opportunities to find some outrights. I think you could take some longer shots. I opened my card up a little. Where, you're the guest. You get to go first. Where were you drawn as your first pick for the outright market?
This is going to be weird, but my very first recommendation, Tony Finau.
Oh.
He has not been playing very good golf, but we're looking at 40-1. 40-1. And I just listed off the top three guys there, Rory, Spieth, Matsuyama. Of course, you've got a Bryson DeChambeau that's starting to get acclimated. He's 28-1, and I thought about making him the first edition, so I don't mind if you want to get a sprinkle in there. But we're talking about my guy, Maverick McNeely, with shorter odds than Finau. Adam Hadwin, identical odds to Finau. Robert McIntyre, identical odds to Finau. He's 35-1 at Augusta National. Look at that field. I know that there's only, 90-something guys that are going to be playing in that tournament, but it's the best players in the world. It's so top heavy, and it's so surprising to see 40-1 on Finau for the Valero. So this is simply just looking at a golf course that's supposed to be set up there. And if odds makers are feeling confident that Finau is somebody that is appropriately priced at 35-1 for Augusta, I have to take some shots at 40-1. I know the form has not been good, but he played all right at the match play. There were some glimmers of hope. He made 7 or 8 birdies, depending on how you gauge it with the concessions in his final match. That's about the most amount of birdies we've seen him make since 1993. So that's sarcasm, by the way. Finau is just a guy that has more talent than this. I think there needs to be at least a little bit of acceptance that, yeah, the form's been bad, but you get him out of Florida, where sometimes the strokes gain numbers can be very out of whack because of water. I think Finau's just a better player than this. So as long as you don't think that he's dust, which I definitely do not, I think he'll eventually bounce back. I think having a decent showing at the match play, even though he didn't advance, is a good enough step in the right direction. I'm willing to take shots at 40-1.
I totally get it. I think if you're getting this number over and over in these level of tournaments with a guy like Finau, he's going to win a couple. And when you have 40-1, you have many, many shots to be profitable there. Of course, the recent form, but as you mentioned, if he was playing better, where do you think he'd be with Answer mid-20s to 1 in a tournament like this?
Yeah, short of 20-1. I mean, Finau has been an elite ball striker, been a top American player for however long now, for a couple of years. There's too much talent there. Maybe, needs to have fewer kids. Maybe that more time on the range would be good, but I'm kidding. I like you, Tony. But Tony Finau, I think he's just a better player than he's shown of late. This is the first time I've seen a number that's appropriate for me to start taking shots.
Yeah, and honestly, the approach numbers in 2022 actually haven't even been bad. It's been the short game. It's been the putter. Not the best showing from him, but again, that is a very good number. I can get behind that. I went opposite in the sense that I'm taking a player who I definitely don't think is, a world elite player, but the similarity that we have, counterintuitive in the sense that we've seen a lot of, shorter hitters excel here. We have seen that, but I think there are room for aggressive off the tee players at times. And the guy that I'm going to He's a Texas guy. I'm going to Johnny Vegas.
Wow.
Not a name that I think we're going to see a lot of. 55-1 in the outright market. And this is a guy I repeatedly target at courses where it's almost counterintuitive. If you look at all his success on tour, the majority of it comes at some of these tracks where he's almost forced to rein it in a little bit. He still gains massively off the tee, but he's excelled. He's a double winner of the Canadian Open. He won the Amex, second at Puerto Rico, third at the Players. He came in fourth at Corrales just last week. Those are some of his best finishes on tour. So I think when we look at Valero, there are some similarities into reining back your off the tee game. You're not just going to blindly mash it here. He plays here every year. Hasn't had much success, I'll be honest, but when I look at it, he's lost strokes putting in 6 of 8 appearances. If you do that, you're not going to have a lot of success. Can he flip that? I have honestly no idea. But when I'm backing an outright, it comes kind of as a prerequisite that I need to get somewhat lucky with my putter. We see that every week with the winner. Usually they have an outlier putting week. That's what happens. That's why they win. You pair that with his off the tee game, I think you could have that Cameron Champ combination. We see it work a couple times a year. 55-1. I think Johnny Vegas is a big time boom bust. That's why I'm betting him as an outright this week.
I love that play because I think it intertwines with my last guy that I'm also going to be in the outright market with. I think, looking at the ball striking numbers, again, you lost 6 of 8 putting. This seems like the thing that this guy does all the time. 60-1 Luke List. There was no way that I wasn't going to add this to the card. We got paid off earlier this year at Farmers where we had one spiked putting week. That's all it takes from Luke List is one spiked putting week, and he's going to win golf tournaments because he is the ultimate ball striker here on tour. Has not lost strokes gain ball striking since the Palmetto. That was the last iteration of the Palmetto, June 13th that week. It's been a while, let's just say, since Luke List didn't end up positive in the ball striking regards. These are flatter greens, easier to get around, and as I said, he gained 3.7 strokes gain putting. Now, it's been abysmal. The Arnold Palmer, Genesis, Phoenix, he's lost north of 2 strokes gain putting every single one of those, upwards of 7 at the Arnold Palmer, but he ended up playing really well against JT, ended up winning that match. That was a nice payoff at the match play. I don't read a ton into that, but it doesn't hurt, at least, to be able to see that he can get it done when he needs to under fire with the putter. So I think anytime you see a number like 60-1 on a guy who's the best ball striker in a field, you just kind of got to take it in a weaker event.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to find ball strikers at his odds too often. It's because he can't putt. But as we just talked about, it only takes 1 or 2 events a year where you have a lucky putting week. You pair that with really solid ball striking and you get some results. And Luke List has already shown he can win on tour. He broke through this year. Now, we've given you 3 outrights. If you're looking for a full card, if you're looking for even more, hop in our premium Discord. You can sign up in the link in the description of this video. It's a great time. Sign up for the week. Sign up for the month. Sign up for life. We don't even have that, but if you email our customer service, I'm sure they'll make an exception. But we would love to have you in there. We could talk top 20s, top 10s, top 40s. Me and Eitan did a full betting breakdown available on the OddsChecker channel, going through our bets. But I think this is a good betting week, so certainly stay tuned. And of course, I know you're excited for Augusta next week, my friend. For me, for Eric, for everyone at OddsChecker, good luck. Enjoy the Valero. And again, like and subscribe on your way out, and we'll talk to you guys soon enough from Georgia. Good luck, and we'll see you then.